Cam Ward had his worst game as a Tennessee Titan in Week 3. I'm going to show you what I didn't like, what I did like, and how the Titans can help Cam Ward more on tape in today's film breakdown from Tic Tac Titans. Fans, welcome into another film breakdown from Tic Tac Titans, your home for Tennessee Titans X's and O's. I am your host, Tyler Rowland, 25 years as a Tennessee Titans fanatic. I've covered the team for USA Today, Sports Illustrated, and I'm a certified film junkie who's hosted the #1 Tennessee Titans podcast, Locked on Titans, for 7 seasons. In today's film breakdown, we're going to take a look at the up and down performance of Cam Ward in Week 3 against the Indianapolis Colts. I thought it was Cam Ward's worst game yet, and there were a lot of things that absolutely have to get cleaned up. But with that, there are a lot of great things on tape as well, and there are some things where Cam Ward could get some help from his coaching staff. So I'm going to dive into all of that stuff on today's breakdown. Before we dive into it, do want to thank you for checking out Tic Tac Titans. Remember, this is your home for year-round, free Tennessee Titans film content. It pairs perfectly with the discussions we have over on the Locked on Titans podcast. Make sure, again, that you get subscribed, stay subscribed, throw a thumbs up on the video, throw a Titan up down in the chat, and with that being said, as we always do, let's step into the film room. So if we're going to be honest about Cam Ward's worst game as a pro so far, we got to start with the worst play of the game, and it was the pick six. And look, I'll be honest with you. The fact that he threw a pick six and threw it right to his running back who was covered by a defender isn't even the worst part of the play. Let me show you what happens here. So Calvin Ridley comes in motion, and what the Titans are going to do is they're going to run a levels concept to try to beat zone coverage. So they're going to have Calvin Ridley come on a deep route here. They're going to have Tyler Lockett on an intermediate route, and then they're going to slide Alec Iomanor right underneath on the drag route. So that's what Cam Ward is trying to decide between. Those are the 3 routes that he's looking for. And you can see right here, I just don't know why this ball isn't gone right here. Look at Io. And yeah, it's 3rd and 10. So maybe Cam Ward is thinking, if I throw it to him, the linebacker could get him, or this defender could crash down. But at some point in time, you have to take what's available to you and give your guy a chance. And Io has made plays so far this year, made guys miss. I just don't understand. I have no good explanation to tell you as to why Cam Ward didn't throw this ball right here to Alec Iomanor. He's staring right at it. And it's not like last week where Io didn't have his head turned. Io is ready. He beats him. He's ready to get the ball and make a play. So this is just unacceptable. You got to get the ball out of your hands. Now he's trying to go through his progressions. He takes far too long. You could have hammered this home to Chig as well. He picks the worst option possible. Doesn't see the defender right on Tony Pollard. Again, he's a rookie. It's his 3rd game ever, but this is an unacceptable mistake that absolutely hurts his football team. Just cannot do that. Can't do it. Now, as we go through Cam Ward's worst plays of the day here, they're going to be in 2 different categories. The one that we just saw on the pick six is a bad decision. He just made the wrong decisions. But there are also some plays here where his accuracy is just not where it needs to be, and that's what you have on the play right before the pick six. It was Cam Ward's first throw of the day. You have Calvin Ridley on a quick out route here. These have to be an extension of the run game for the Titans. These have to be catch and pitch. This has to be bread and butter in Brian Callahan's West Coast system that he's trying to run, a version of it at least. And this is just inaccuracy. Now, I'll take this all day from Cam Ward over the bad decisions. Decisions are more concerning to me. This is just an inaccurate throw where he's way too wide for Calvin Ridley, and that's something that I'm not as concerned about long-term with Cam Ward. But gotta be on your P's and Q's in the NFL, and coming out with an inaccurate pass like this to start and following up with the decision that we saw from Cam Ward on the next play, certainly not what he wants to do. Here's another example of inaccuracy, and this is something that I've been talking about with Cam Ward since the preseason, since his college tape. He's just so nonchalant and lackadaisical with short throws. This is like what I would compare it to is, they say, 80% of car accidents happen within 10 minutes of the destination, because once you're close to being home or you're close to getting to where you need to go, you kind of don't focus as much as you did before. And Cam just is too erratic with these quick throws, these screen throws. And we see it here to Chimdike. You know, look at Cam's feet right here. I mean, the play isn't perfect, but, you know, look at that footwork. And I'm no quarterback individual guru or anything, but I could tell you that you shouldn't be throwing the ball like that. Like, get your feet set properly. You have time to do it. And he just throws a terrible pass, you know? And if this is a better pass right there on him, you do have a little bit of an advantageous situation with one guy out there and nobody else. If this is a pass right to him right now, they might be able to make something out of this. So he's just it was better in week 2, and then it regressed again in week 3. He's just got to get cleaner with his footwork and take these short throws more seriously. Now, we started with a bad decision, and then we saw 2 inaccurate throws, but we are back to a questionable decision here. This is going to be a screen pass to Tony Pollard, who's going to get out here, and I just don't understand why Cam isn't getting rid of this football. Like, it's set up perfect, play action fake, boom. Right now, get the ball there. And you could say Grover Stewart is right here, but I would disagree. I just don't agree that Grover Stewart would be able to affect this. Throw this football. Get a short little pass to Tony Pollard, and look, you're set up perfect. This could be a huge play for the Titans on 2nd and 10. We talk about how terrible the screens are and why the screens never work. Well, this is back-to-back screens where it is 100% on Cam Ward that it didn't work. So I just don't understand why he doesn't throw this football. I don't get it, you know? I don't think that Grover Stewart is getting his hand to that pass. I simply don't buy that. Throw it right here. Throw it. Throw the ball. You know what I mean? I don't get it. So that has to be cleaned up from Cam Ward because, you know, and that he almost throws it backwards. And if they would have reviewed that, I think it would have been a fumble and a lost play. So he's just got to clean up these screen passes. So now we're getting back to some decision-making stuff. And again, I know you guys are going to be so mad at me, but at the end of the day, these are things that must improve for Cam Ward to become the player that we know that he can be. We can't give him passes when he has bad games and makes bad plays. We have to be honest about the good and the bad. And this is a vertical concept from the Titans. You got a vertical route right here. You got 2 crossing routes right here as well. But what I want to focus on is the short routes, because you have Gunnar Helm on a drag route right here, and then you have Tony Pollard who comes out as a check down option as well. And Cam is big game hunting. I get it. We don't window shop. I've heard the phrase, but he has to find a balance between hunting that big play and taking what the defense is giving him. The Colts drop into a cover 3. They have the vertical routes hemmed up right here. This is good coverage. They're here. There's nothing doing. Cam's in the pocket. There's going to be pressure on him, all right? I'm not saying that it's easy, okay? It's not easy. But when he steps up right here, if he takes 1 step forward and dumps the ball here or dumps the ball here, look, it's first down. It's first down, all right? Take the profit, okay? But instead, he tries to get through. Like, look at that. Right now, you could throw this football. You could dump the ball off. But he wants to keep extending the play and keep hunting the big play. And I'm wondering if he sees this here and says, if I can just get out here, I can take that shot. Or I see Chigakonkwo coming across right here. If I can get out here, I can make that happen. Either way, but you had an opportunity to dump down the ball. And because you don't do it, now you're in harm's way. Now you take a big hit. Now you don't take profit. Now it's 2nd and 10. Like, you know, it's stuff like that. He just has to clean it up. All right, guys, here's a great example of how sacks are not always on the offensive line. This is Cam Ward's fault. This is the 3rd sack of the game. Now, the first 2 sacks, I think, were on other people. It wasn't Cam Ward's fault, but the last 2 sacks of the game, I think, are Cam Ward's fault. And we see this in a 2-man concept. You're going to have Calvin Ridley right here at the bottom of the screen. He's going to be on the deep in route right here. It's called a dig route. A deep in route is called a dig route. I had somebody say, what'd you just call that route? That's called a dig route when you run a deep in dig, okay? And then you're going to have a quick sit-down route where he can fade outside for Chigakonkwo. And Chigakonkwo is open. And again, this is 1st and 10, all right? I know you're down. I know it's late in the game, but you're not going to get any closer by taking sacks. So look how Chig starts to bend out here. Cam has time here. I know there's pressure coming, but he has time. He has to get rid of this football to Chigakonkwo instead of continuing to hunt the big play to Calvin Ridley here, or maybe something backside. Just take the profit. It's 1st and 10. Look, Chig is right here. He's here. And Cam is just waiting. Maybe he's hoping that Calvin Ridley will get in there, but you don't have that much time. Your offensive line is not going to give you that much time. You got to get that ball out of your hands on 1st and 10. Take the profit. Give Chig a chance. That's a 6 or 7 yard gain if he completes it. Instead, it's a 10-yard loss and another sack on your offensive line that's going to make your fan base say that the O-line sucks. Well, I'm not saying the O-line's good, but sacks are not just an offensive line stat. This is the 4th and final sack of the day, and it's basically the same exact thing from Cam Ward. We see the same exact route combination at the bottom of the screen with the deep in route from Calvin Ridley, and then the quick sit down / be able to fade out if you need to from Chigakonkwo. And Cam Ward just doesn't take what's there. It's 2nd and medium, and instead it turns into 3rd and long. And again, I know you're down right here, so I would imagine what Cam Ward is thinking is, if I have just a little bit more time, I might be able to hammer this home to Calvin Ridley, and who knows, maybe it's a big play. And they're down big, and it's late in the game, and this one is not as bad as the previous one, in my opinion. But at the same time, you know, Cam has time. At the same time, Cam has time here. He has time to get this into Chigakonkwo. He does. Take one step forward, hit your tight end, and then give yourself a 3rd and short. All right? So this sack, to me, look at the protection right now. Is the offensive line perfect? No, not by a stretch. Is the right side of the offensive line starters? No, not by a stretch. But you're not making it easier on your offensive line. Like, that's too much time in the pocket. And at minimum, you could dump this out to Tony Pollard. Like, you got to get the ball out of your hands. I get you want to hunt the big plays, but these are making the offensive line look worse, and it's like having a hangover. They say when you drink, you're borrowing from tomorrow's happiness. Well, Cam Ward, big play hunting like this, is borrowing from the next play's happiness, in my opinion. Here's the last play that I want to go over, and it's another inaccuracy situation. Now, a lot of these have been decision-making, but some of them are inaccurate passes, and he has a low red zone opportunity to Alec Iomanor. Iomanor wins inside, and look at this ball. It's not even close. It's inside, it's low, and if we go back to this angle, look, Io wins inside. You stick that on his chest right there, that's a touchdown. Now, Cam Ward eventually paid off for it, and they got the touchdown that they needed, but this is an inaccurate pass, and we just got to clean some of this stuff up. See, and look at Cam's footwork. Again, I'm no quarterback guru, but look at his feet when he releases the football. Look at that. That's not good. I'm not, Kurt Warner or JT O'Sullivan or whatever, you know what I mean? But that's not good footwork. Your feet should not look like that when you're throwing a pass. And of course, it's inaccurate and low and doesn't give Io a chance. It's 3rd down. Now you set yourself up with 4th down. We got to convert on those. Just stuff that has to be improved. All right, now let's talk about some of the good stuff, because even though it was Cam Ward's worst game as a Titan, there was still some incredible stuff on tape. And what I want to focus on here is this is a seam route to Chigakonkwo, and what the Colts do some wild stuff right here. They run an inverted cover 2 coverage where the safety drops back into the deep half over here, and the linebacker drops back into the honey hole, and they literally cross each other while they're doing it. That is quite exotic for the NFL level, where you have guys crossing like that. But Cam Ward reads it right away and delivers a strike to Chigakonkwo that I think needs to be caught. Boom. What a throw. Again, recognizes it right away, which is awesome. Boom. I'm loading and firing. Look, DeForest Buckner coming at me. Sidearm throw. Feet lined up right. Catch the ball, Chig. And if that were Gunnar Helm, that would be a catch. I am begging for more Gunnar Helm snaps, man. Please, I am begging. But great throw by Cam Ward. Again, more velocity from Cam Ward. He just throws with such velocity all the time. But this is a very classic NFL play. Just curls and flats. You're going to see a deep curl right here. You're going to see a flat route over here. You're going to see another deep curl from Calvin Ridley right here. You're going to see Chigakonkwo come out here into the flat, I believe, and then the running back is going to escape as well. But you're just looking for either of these long curls to try to get a play down the field, and Cam Ward is able to deliver this perfectly with velocity, get it to Calvin Ridley in the hole in the defense. Look at that. Boom, right as he turns around, throws with anticipation too. Look, when Cam goes to throw that, Calvin Ridley's back is to him. That's an anticipatory throw. Awesome stuff, and the velocity to get it in between these two defenders. This is a great throw from Cam Ward. And honestly, after some of the stuff that we saw earlier in the game and the indecisiveness, this was a really, really good throw to get him back on track. And then Calvin Ridley turns it upfield, 27 yards. It's an explosive play. All right, so on this one, this is Cam Ward saving everybody. This is Cam Ward absolutely putting the entire team on his back to keep a drive going. Number one, it's 3rd and long here, and the Tennessee Titans run a man-beating concept for 3rd and short. It's called mesh rail. Okay, you guys, if you've played any Madden whatsoever, you've probably seen this play. You're going to have Gunnar Helm come here and sit down right here. You're going to have some drag routes across the field as well. Io Manor's going to go in motion here, and he's going to come out here, fake the rail route, and then sit down, and you have Tony Pollard on a rail route down the sideline. This is meant to beat man coverage, and nobody does. And this is part of the problem with Calvin Ridley this year. They got him off the line of scrimmage, which should give him an advantage, all press coverage. He's one of the faster players, or used to be at least, in the NFL. I haven't seen that speed this year, but there's traffic. Not enough traffic, so it's Helm that goes on the crosser and Lockett that comes on the sit-down route. Either way, those are the routes that you're going to see in mesh. But Ridley gets absolutely no separation whatsoever from Charvarius Ward. And as you can see, Cam Ward's already out of the pocket. You want to know why? Because there's immediate pressure. Blake Hance and Ali Udoh, immediate pressure from the Titans' backup offensive lineman. Nobody open anyway, even if there wasn't pressure. What are we doing here? Supposed to be a little bit of a rub route. Doesn't happen. Doesn't get him anywhere. There's nobody open here. Okay? So what does Cam Ward have? Nothing. And he makes something out of it. Escapes the pocket. Gets upfield. Finds a way to get the first down. Incredible decision and incredible playmaking. We saw the velocity. Now we see the playmaking. But this play is a good example of terrible play call. Play not executed properly. Nobody open. Offensive line terrible. But yet, Cam Ward still rises. On this one, you're going to see another route concept that I'm not a huge fan of, the spacing of the routes. And remember, this is something that Kurt Warner really took the Titans to task for in the preseason, and we see it multiple examples in the film. I hope to do another video later in the week showing how Brian Callahan's offense is not helping out Cam Ward. But what you're going to see right here is a double crossing route. You're going to have Calvin Ridley on a crosser here. You're going to have Alec Iomanor on a crosser here, which too much congestion right in the middle here. That's the route spacing is so bad. Lockett comes in motion and then ends up sitting down over here on a sit-down route. Chigakonkwo is where Cam Ward's eventually going to go, but he's going to come out here and then run an in route. And again, the amount of spacing that you have in the middle of the field, like 1, 2, 3, all of these guys so close together makes it so easy on the defense to just hone in. They're all within this little area of the field. This is terrible route spacing, making it so easy on the defense, but Cam Ward's velocity. Once again, Cam Ward's velocity to hammer this home in these tight windows to Chigakonkwo. Look, he's right around this defender, right underneath this defender. This guy's right here. This is a great play by Cam Ward to be able to not only recognize that this is the open guy, but also the velocity to drive this thing home. Great throw. Again, we're talking playmaking and velocity. Playmaking and velocity. And on this one, you see a little bit of the combination of both. So this is a man-beating concept for the Titans. They're going to have Tony Pollard come out here trying to drag a man out of the middle of the field. They're going to have Calvin Ridley come underneath and run the short drag route here. They're going to have Tyler Lockett on the deep over route. And then they're going to have Alec Ioman are kind of in between those guys. And the idea is one of these guys has got to be open against man coverage. Well, if you look, there is a little bit of room. There is a little bit of room right here. Now, the Colts pass this off well. Their zone defender takes this underneath drag. I think that's where the Titans wanted to go on this one because it's third and short, so they just wanted an easy one. But that's not there. Now, Tyler Lockett is open here, but look what's happening in the pocket. Cam Ward taking pressure. So he can't just step up and make that throw. He's got to get out of the pocket and make some plays. And now it's a scramble drill. Now it's sandlot football. And now Cam Ward's playmaking instincts take over. Waits, and then Tyler Lockett, smartly, and this is why Lockett was brought in, because he did the sandlot thing with Russell Wilson for so many years. He knows I was working this way, I'm going to work back the other way. There's nobody there, and Cam Ward delivers a strike with velocity to Tyler Lockett, allows him to get up the field, and it's a big play. Here's another example where Cam Ward's playmaking instincts and the velocity he can get on his throws can absolutely bail him out. So I want you to focus on this route from Tyler Lockett, which I think is open, okay? Boom. Lockett is open, okay? But look in the backfield. Literally destruction right in Cam Ward's lap, okay? Like, he can't step up and make this throw when this guy is right here. So what does he do? If you're Cam Ward, what have you done all season when you don't have anything? Throw it up to Io. Give your guy a chance to make a play. And that's exactly what he does. But this is ridiculous from the end zone angle. Watch this. I mean, this is crazy. Backing up, backing up, backing up, back foot, velocity, boom, throws it up. Io makes the play, and it's a good game. That is insane. All right, here's the wild one, folks. And look, last week everybody was saying, oh, that was a bad throw. Cam can't keep doing that. And I tried to tell you, yes, he can. That is how Cam Ward plays. He is going to continue throwing across his body, throwing to the other side of the field, and he's going to do it with accuracy because he can do it. And we see it again here, and this should have been a touchdown if Calvin Ridley didn't have the absolute yips right now. Ridley does a little double move, works back. Look at that throw by Cam Ward. Look, right to him. Quit basket catching. Quit basket catching. High point, triangle, arms up, high point the football. If Calvin Ridley does that, he probably still drops it, but it at least is the right technique to try to make this play. Look at it from the end zone angle. This is where you really can appreciate how insane this throw is from Cam Ward. Like, this is insane. Look at this. Rolling left, throwing right, and look how accurate it is. Right to where it needs to be. And again, if Calvin Ridley goes to the football and tries to attack it rather than trying to basket catch it, it doesn't get knocked out by the defender. He might draw a pass interference. He might, who knows? He might even catch it. But what an insane throw from Cam Ward. And again, if you think that that was a bad decision and he's going to stop doing stuff like he did on the touchdown pass in week 2, then you have no idea who he is as a player, because he is going to keep doing it and he's going to do it with success. All right, so more velocity for you. We've seen the playmaking. We've seen the velocity. You're going to have a quick sit-down route in the end zone by Alec Ioman right here. You're going to see Tony Pollard escape out here and pull this defender with him, and it creates just enough of room for Cam Ward to use that arm strength and velocity to fire this thing home for a touchdown. Look, the Colts are basically in a cover 2 coverage where this is your deep half. You got your flat corner right here. You got your hook defender, one of them right here. And there's this little pocket right here, and Cam Ward is ready the entire time and fires this thing home. Excellent. Last little section of good Cam Ward stuff that I want to show you guys here is the play action stuff. And I'm just going to let it roll. And here's the thing. You watch the Colts play action bootleg the Titans to death all day long. I have 4 of these plays. That's it. 4 of these plays. That's the only plays that I have for you to show play action bootleg. I don't understand why the Titans aren't doing more of this to help Cam Ward out. Play action. Get guys moving one way. Go across the field. Big gain. Big play. Easy money. All right, here you go. Another play action, except under center this time. Play action fake. Get the defense going one way. Bring your weapons around the other way. Give Cam Ward some easy money. Help your rookie quarterback. Again, the Colts did this all day long to help a 5-year vet in Daniel Jones. And it makes him look incredible when Shane Steichen is scheming things up. I mean, the Titans got hit over the head like 6 or 7 times on these play action dump offs to the tight end. And that's exactly what you see right here to Gunnar Helm. But do got to give Cam Ward credit. Defense is right in his face. He's cool as a cucumber. I feel so corny saying that my brain tried to stop me, but I'm persisting. But look at this. Look at that. Fading back, easy dump off, easy money. Help your rookie. This is basically the same exact play that we just saw to Van Jefferson. Play action fake, get the defense moving one direction, roll Cam out to his strong side, velocity throw, easy pitch and catch, big time gain. Like, it can be easy. It doesn't have to be as hard as Brian Callahan and the Tennessee Titans offense makes it on their rookie quarterback. So those are some great examples right there of how the Titans need to use play action more to get Cam Ward on the move and give him easy outlets. Titans fans, I hope you enjoyed that film breakdown on Cam Ward. Again, there's a lot that needs to get better, but there's also a lot to like, and Cam Ward needs a lot more help than what he's getting right now. But that is going to do it for today's film breakdown. Again, make sure that you get subscribed, stay subscribed to be the most informed Tennessee Titans fan you could possibly be. Throw a thumbs up on the video, throw a tighten up down in the chat. I am your host, Tyler Rowland, and as I tell you every episode, tighten up.